The Saint Bernard is etched into memory as the ultimate canine hero, but the most famous part of that image is fiction. The monks never strapped brandy casks to their dogs. That concept was invented by this 1820 painting by Edwin Landseer. The cinematic myth masks an imposing physical reality. Today's domestic Saint Bernard stands up to 30 inches tall at the shoulder and weighs anywhere from 120 to 180 pounds. This creates a disconnect. Prospective owners fall in love with the idea of a gentle giant, only to find themselves completely unprepared for the daily logistics of housing an animal that weighs as much as an adult human. Acquiring a Saint Bernard means committing to a specific logistical reality, acting as a high-level manager for a uniquely demanding and vulnerable giant. To understand this vulnerability, we have to look at where the breed was forged. In the 17th century, the Great St. Bernard Pass was a treacherous, freezing route connecting Switzerland and Italy. Monks at a high-altitude hospice bred these dogs to serve as watchdogs, use their broad chests to clear snowy paths, and track down stranded travelers. Over a span of roughly 200 years, these dogs were incredibly effective. They saved an estimated 2,000 lives, including soldiers marching with Napoleon's army. A series of severe winters in the 1810s triggered deadly avalanches that decimated the working dog population. To save the line, the monks crossed the surviving dogs with Newfoundlands. This crossbreeding had an unintended negative consequence. The new, longer fur acted as a magnet for snow and ice, weighing the dogs down and severely hindering their ability to perform rescue work. The modern St. Bernard we see today is a biological artifact. It was originally adapted for extreme alpine survival, but the very traits that saved it from extinction, its massive size and heavy coat, make modern domestic care incredibly intensive. The transition to home life is dominated by the sheer speed of physical growth. A puppy gains dozens of pounds in mere months, expanding faster than its body can handle. A critical vulnerability hides inside this rapid growth. The dog's immature skeleton and joints face immense, dangerous stress as they rapidly pack on body weight. Managing this requires strict owner intervention. You must implement rigid portion control and feed highly specialized large breed puppy food, formulated to artificially slow their growth rate. This line graph compares two growth trajectories. If you fail to regulate their diet and overfeed a giant breed puppy, you practically guarantee the development of crippling, lifelong developmental orthopedic conditions like hip dysplasia. Because they are a giant breed, the sheer volume of this specialized high-quality food creates a permanently high baseline monthly expense. The first year of a St. Bernard's life is a high-stakes nutritional balancing act. Your financial budget and daily discipline directly dictate the dog's lifelong mobility and freedom from pain. Beyond internal health, there is the immediate issue of external maintenance. A 180-pound animal occupies massive physical space in a standard home. Then there is the grooming. Their thick double coat requires daily brushing to manage massive shedding, particularly during the spring and fall when they blow their coats. And that brings us to the breed's most infamous and unavoidable daily reality, the drool. The loose skin and hanging lips act as a constant spigot for massive amounts of saliva. Owners make permanent lifestyle adjustments. You will constantly carry drool rags, accepting bodily fluids on your clothing, your furniture, and your walls. Owning a St. Bernard requires a complete surrender of household cleanliness. Anyone considering themselves a neat freak will find the daily reality of this breed psychologically unbearable. The daily mess is an inconvenience, but the genetics of a massive, deep-chested frame brings severe, acute medical vulnerabilities. This diagram shows the mechanics of gastric dilation volvulus, commonly known as GDV or bloat. GDV is a condition where the stomach rapidly inflates with gas and twists on itself, pinching off the esophagus and creating a rapidly fatal emergency. The statistical danger here is high. St. Bernards have an odds ratio of 4.2 for developing GDV, meaning they are over 4 times more likely to experience bloat than the average dog. This makes proactive veterinary monitoring and rapid emergency response absolute necessities. The breed is predisposed to secondary genetic threats, including high rates of osteosarcoma, a bone cancer, and entropion, a condition where the eyelids roll inward and severely irritate the eye. Trading these conditions exposes the hidden financial multiplier of giant breed medicine. Every medication, anesthetic, and surgical procedure is dosed by weight, turning routine visits into massive bills. A St. Bernard owner must maintain a substantial financial safety net. You are paying a heavy premium for the privilege of managing a fragile giant. With the shedding, the drool, and the staggering medical bills, why do people endure the logistics? The answer lies in the St. Bernard's world-class temperament. Their ideal psychological profile is exactly what the movies promise. They are calm, highly patient, and deeply affectionate, earning their reputation as gentle family dogs. Ensuring this calm profile develops correctly requires a heavy upfront investment, rigorous obedience training, and socialization while they are still small enough for an owner to physically handle. The physical stakes of failing to train them are severe. An untrained 180-pound dog isn't malicious, but it becomes a dangerous, uncontrollable projectile that can easily knock over toddlers or adults by sheer accident. This is the core behavioral return on investment. Front-loading intense training effort on a puppy yields a low-energy, loving adult companion that actually requires surprisingly little physical exercise. Any final evaluation of this breed requires confronting the most painful statistic of giant breed ownership. The hard data shows that the average life expectancy for a St. Bernard is only 8 to 10 years, drastically shorter than standard-sized dogs. This quadrant chart maps the ideal owner profile. If your tolerance for mess and your budget are both high, you fall into the target zone for a St. Bernard. You also need the capacity for heavy emotional resilience. This explicitly disqualifies certain households. If you are budget-constrained, a pristine housekeeper, or emotionally unequipped to handle early, inevitable pet loss, you should not adopt this breed. This is the ultimate trade-off. If you can afford the food, stomach the drool, and accept the tragically short timeline, the St. Bernard provides a return on investment of pure, unfiltered loyalty that few other breeds on Earth can match.